This Do Now assignment is all about variables. And we do variables with this sign language. This is variables. Again, variables. And we are now going to learn about independent variables and dependent variables. So what is a variable? A variable is an object, event, or idea, or a feeling, or a time period, or any other type of category that you are trying to measure. There are two types of variables: an independent variable and a dependent variable. An independent variable is exactly what it sounds like. It is a variable that stands alone and isn't changed by the other variables you're trying to measure. So for example, someone's age might be an independent variable. Other factors such as what they eat, how much they go to school, how much television they watch, aren't going to change a person's age. In fact, when you are looking for some kind of relationship between variables, you're trying to see if the independent variable causes some change in other variables or dependent variable. So what is a dependent variable? This is the dependent variable. Just like an independent variable, a dependent variable is exactly what it sounds like. It is something that depends on other factors. It's something that you measure. For example, a test score could be a dependent variable because it could change depending on several factors such as how much you studied, how much sleep you got the night before you took the test, or even how hungry you were when you took it. Usually when you're looking for a relationship between two things, you're trying to find out what makes the dependent variable change the way it does. Many people have trouble remembering which is the independent variable and which is the dependent variable. Again, they have trouble remembering which is the independent variable and which is the dependent variable. An easy way to remember is to insert the names of the two variables you are using in this sentence in the way that makes the most sense. Then you can figure out which is the independent variable and which is the dependent variable. For example, the independent variable causes change. This is a sign language for change in the dependent variable, and it isn't possible that the dependent variable could cause a change in the independent variable. So an example would be time spent studying causes a change in the test score, and it isn't possible that the test score could cause a change in the time spent studying. So we see that the time spent studying would be the independent variable, and the test score is what is the measuring thing, what we can measure, and that's the dependent variable, because the sentence doesn't make sense the other way around. So for this Do Now Thursday, the question is, what are the independent and dependent variables for this example? The example is the amount of sunlight affects the height of the plant. Okay, so the amount of sunlight affects the height of the plant. Which one is the independent variable? Which one is the independent variable? And which one is the dependent variable? What can you change and what can you measure? Right? So what can you change? Can you change the height of the plant, or can you change the amount of sunlight? And then what can you measure? Can you measure the amount of sunlight, or can you measure the height of the plant? Right? So the answer is, if you're watching this video, I'm going to give you the answer. The independent variable is the amount of sunlight, and then what we can measure is how high the plant is, so the height of the plant. So again, the amount of sunlight is the independent variable, what we can change, and then the height of the plant is the dependent variable.